Pendlecrank Gildcrease. The light fell in precise angles across the workshop, illuminating the silent regiments that stood upon the shelves. Here, in his world of paper and quiet creases, Pendlecrank Gildcrease found a perfect, predictable order. Each morning began with the same ritual: the careful selection of a sheet, the slow, deliberate folding, the breath held at the final tuck. A crane, a beetle, a lotus flower. Each creation was a testament to a life where every action had its purpose, every fold its place. It was a stability built not of stone, but of paper, and to him, it was utterly unassailable. It began not with a sound, but with a stillness. The air, usually dusted with the scent of old paper, grew thick and metallic. Then came the tremor, a faint shudder that rattled the tiny feet of 100 paper swans. Through his window, Pendlecrank saw it, a glint of unnatural light from the old quarry, followed by a low, grinding hum. And from that distant pit, figures began to emerge. They were angular, sharp, moving with a jerky, synchronous purpose. They were origami like his, but twisted, militarized, and they were methodically folding the very world around them into stark, geometric desolation. He merely tutted, adjusting his spectacles. "The trick of the light," he murmured to a newly finished paper fox. "A geological phenomenon. The earth settles, it groans. It has nothing to do with us." He turned his back to the window, focusing on the delicate inner petal of a lily. The hum grew louder. A distant tree was sheer into a perfect, silent cube. Pendlecrank simply hummed a tuneless little air, refusing to let the chaos beyond his window pierce the sanctity of his calm. It was an illusion, a nonsense. His world of folds could not be threatened by folds. The change came when the humming stopped at his own gate. He watched from the sill as a squad of sharp-legged scouts began to methodically fold his rose garden into a stark, gray platform. His beautiful, chaotic blooms were pressed into rigid uniformity. A great, weary sigh escaped him, not of defeat, but of understanding. This was not a phenomenon to be observed. It was a language to be answered. He looked at his hands, at the peaceful army he had created, and knew they were not meant for shelves. A fierce, quiet resolution settled in his heart. He would answer them, fold for fold. His first battalion, a flock of elegant cranes, was swiftly grounded, their wings clipped by razor-sharp paper darts. The second, a charge of stout little bulls, was outflanked and folded into useless cubes. Each engagement was a lesson written in loss. Pendlecrank's hands, once slow and deliberate, now moved with a frantic energy. He crafted shields from the toughest parchment, designed scouts that could flutter silently on the thermals, but the army from the quarry was adaptive, its general unseen. His resources, his beautiful papers, dwindled, and with them, his hope. The workshop was surrounded. The relentless geometric shapes pressed against the walls, and the terrible grinding hum was all he could hear. His last defender, a great paper bear, lay dismantled into a neat stack of squares. Pendlecrank slumped amidst the scraps of his failures, the light from the quarry casting long, cruel shadows. He had folded his entire world into an army, and it had not been enough. The lead soldier, a monstrous thing of angles and edges, stepped across his threshold. This was not just defeat, it was eradication. The art of the fold would be replaced by the science of conquest. As the soldier advanced, its sharp arm raised to reduce him to a mere component, Pendlecrank's eyes fell upon the first thing he had ever folded, a simple, crooked boat, kept on a high shelf for sentiment. It was flawed, imperfect, made with a child's clumsy hands, and he saw it. His enemy knew only perfect, ruthless geometry. They could not parse the illogical, the asymmetrical, the beautiful mistake. With a sudden, wild energy, he did not create a weapon, but a song a lopsided, fluttering thing of impossible curves and soft, vulnerable points. It drifted toward the soldier, which halted, its processors unable to compute this nonsensical shape. That was the key. Not opposing their order, but transcending it with chaos. Now Pendlekrank's world is stable again, but different. The quarry is silent, its army returned to mere paper, recycled into new, wilder forms. His shelves are no longer regiments, but a vibrant menagerie of glorious, flawed, and asymmetrical creations. The air smells once more of paper, but also of the wild roses that have grown back, stronger for having been pulled. He still begins each day with a ritual, but now he seeks not the perfect crease, but the interesting mistake. His life is secure, a new equilibrium found not in defiance of the fold, but in the rediscovery of its